It's Friday, the 5th of October 2018. You are back at your second home in Cambridge, in Peterhouse, exactly 5 years after you first entered here, following the shadows of your former self. I still remember that first day so vividly. Entering SPT 6 for the first time, meeting Harry at the bottom of the staircase, him saying some stupid joke, and we've been friends ever since. He was the first person I even met at Peterhouse, or student at least. And then Christina, your college mum, helping you move in. Yeah, the nostalgia is overwhelming.
You've learnt a lot in the past 5 years, Adrito, not only from your degrees in mathematics and astrophysics, but also in hundreds of other ways. You've made tremendous friends, had dozens of crushes, gained muscle, honed sporting abilities, done things you've regretted, learnt about life, philosophy, and things you'd have never dreamed of, and formed experiences I hope you never forget. So, to ensure I fulfill this promise, as unfortunately memories do fade, I've made this video for you. Quod, Erat, Demonstrandum. What was to be shown? Found at the end of a proof in mathematics, and now at the end of my time at the University of Cambridge. But before we start, for completeness, let's give a little context. You had just finished school, and during the summer holidays had an excellent time interrailing across Europe and celebrating turning 18. Unfortunately, your naivety had still yet to wear off. You really didn't know much about anything, but first year was going to change all of that. The year of beginnings. Michaelmas was hectic. Matriculation, formals, pennying, balls, bops, drinking, clubbing, film nights, house parties, socializing, lectures, talks, societies, sports, and simply getting used to life away from home. The thing is, I was completely oblivious to social conventions, relationships, fashion, even food. I ate tuna, beans, and eggs for lunch every day. However, not giving two shits gave me a lot of freedom and helped me find genuine connections with friends, from card games to atheism. Then college rowing, college families and marriage, college badminton and basketball, and David taught me how to play squash. I did try a few things outside of college, such as radio presenting, but didn't have the time to stick with any of them. Then came Cambridge Christmas, or as we call it, Bridgemas, followed by travelling to India over the Christmas break, falling further behind in work, and for the first time I actually read the course booklet, trying to understand the overcomplicated Alpha-Beta award system. Lent term was much the same as Michaelmas, although I ditched rowing, freeing me up from 6 AM alarms and running to the boathouse. I never did get a bike in the end. With that free time I started hitting the gym, a habit I have still yet to break. Easter term, as you'll see is common across the years, is exam preparation until May week, where I went punting and played some tennis, cricket and croquet for the first time, as well as attending the Keys May Ball, where I literally bumped into the late Stephen Hawking. Although it's only been 5 years, many things were different at Peterhouse. The old JCR, physically signing into formal, and lenient room licenses. This meant many of us stayed a few days extra before going home and had a barbecue day, the perfect way to wrap things up. The highlights of the year, curiously, were the daily, often ridiculous conversations we would start in hall at 6 and not resolve until days later, like the definition of a sandwich or the induction problem. I learned so much from these chats, especially from outside of my subject, knowledge and concepts from medicine, history, English, philosophy, and economics that I would otherwise never come across. Summer began, and with my newfound friends I went on 2 wonderful holidays in Austria and Croatia, rejuvenating me for second year, the year of success. Michaelmas was slightly more focused than the previous year. Still a lot of college sport, captaining second badminton and creating a college table tennis team, but also more time spent on work, MMA, and music. I played Rondo alla Turca in Peterhouse's end-of-term concert. Time flew by, and soon enough it was the Christmas holidays where I went on the varsity ski trip and passed my driving test. One classic Cambridge experience from this term that I have engraved into memory was when I attended an MMA swap, got reasonably drunk, pulled a girl in Sunday Life, and then stayed up to finish a quantum mechanics example sheet that was due in the morning. Lent term was a big one. Firstly, I was elected as webmaster for the JCR, a position I obtained just in time for the opening of the new Whittle building, allowing me to attend the ceremony, and later in term visit our sister college Merton in Oxford. And secondly, I got my first real job, an internship at Deutsche Bank. Easter term was weirdly pleasant. Probably because I actually put the work in throughout the year. And so, with exams over, I was able to freely celebrate May Week with the Downing and Peterhouse Mayballs. The summer was spent at the aforementioned Deutsche Bank internship, followed by a trip to Barcelona. Third year was now beckoning, the year of excess. This year was not a healthy one. I stretched myself too thin. On top of the extra difficulty in work as one would expect from third year, and my continued responsibilities as webmaster, I got into the Blues MMA team, meaning 4 training sessions per week. Moreover, Stephen and I took gymming seriously as the new gym had finally opened, so we tried to go daily and eat cleanly. Furthermore, I applied for internships, which meant days spent on preparing for and attending interviews. Plus, I picked up competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, more time commitment, and I even went back to London once to watch Naruto the movie. Yeah, not the best time management, causing me to pull several all-nighters. Do I regret any of it? No, not at all. I met a ton of people I wouldn't have if I hadn't done so much, and I still do all of the things I mentioned in some form or another to this day. Most importantly, I enjoyed all of it. Watching Doctor Who with Stephen, doing maths in my room while the birds sung in the early morning, walking to the CMS every day, training hard, attending music concerts and parties, singing in open mic nights, travelling across the world for Yu-Gi-Oh!, and hanging out with my friends I had grown to love. However, too much enjoyment made my grades slip, so I didn't get into Part 3 mathematics. Instead, I switched to Part 2 astrophysics, leading me into 4th year, the year of sorrow. I may not regret my extra year now, but I did at the time. I just wasn't my usual confident self. Having Max as a roommate helped. He, Dave, and I would often spend the day together, watching films, playing SingStar, the guitar, and an excessive amount of pool, while finishing the day off with our daily Sainsbury's expeditions. Otherwise, the year was similar to the previous 3. I kept up with MMA, Yu-Gi-Oh! And gymming, along with the standard formals and fancy dinners. The academic year finished off with pretty decent exams, my second Peterhouse May Ball, an internship at Macquarie, a holiday with my family in Russia, and a South Asia trip with my school friends. I forgot to mention that as I was now kind of in the year below my original, I began hanging out with them more frequently, making good friends in the process. This included my college son Johnny, who became my roommate in 5th year, the year of rejuvenation. The fantastic summer and better grades renewed my spirit, and having the goals of first, Varsity Blue and girlfriend gave me a focus, allowing me to manage my time better. Outside of these goals, I made a new group of friends, watched anime with Johnny, played pool, went clubbing, and finally graduated. My years in Cambridge were truly brilliant, each one in its own unique fashion. But I guess meeting and befriending some of the most intelligent and ambitious people on this planet in the 734-year-old educational institute will do that. In particular, I'd like to thank those who made this time extra special. The Latimer boys, who were with me from before day 1. Miran, Omar, Sam, Louis, James, Anushan and Sujit. Then my original Peterhouse group of friends, who I spent most of my undergraduate time with. David, Harry, Annalie, Max, Devanch and Lucas. Next is the Peterhouse 2013 Mathmos, who battle alongside me arm in arm through the Maths Tripos. Stephen, Ellie, Sahil, Arnis and Jai. Once the majority of my original friends graduated, I had to make new friends for my extra 2 years. From the year below, we have Johnny, Hardeep, Akash, Simon, Cameron and Tommy, and from even below them, the new Peterhouse boys, Nikhil, both Stephans, Alex, Jamie and Philippe, which leaves Ralph, who I've probably spent too much time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With. Cambridge. To many regarded as an ancient university for the pretentious twats out of touch with reality. And yes, I suppose that is a fair assessment. The Oxbridge bubble definitely does exist, a place with its own language, where black tie events are a daily occurrence, where the annual boat race is considered national television. But it worked for me, and perhaps I am now one of said pretentious twats. I definitely have changed since my school days, for better or for worse who can say, but what I do know is that I'll take the Cambridge experience over any other in a plank time. And, as is inevitable, we're back to physics and mathematics, the reason I can even make this video. I may have been beaten by it, but I never stopped loving it, and I'm never going to face an intellectual challenge as mighty as the one I faced completing Tripos.
I'm certainly going to miss university life, but I'll take all that I've learned, both academically and otherwise, with me as I start my next chapter, treasuring the moments I had the privilege and honour of experiencing. I could go on talking about my adventures in Cambridge for longer than I was even here. So many fabulous stories to tell, such that not even this absurdly long video has enough space in the margin for the proof that was and always will be my beautiful 5 years at the University of Cambridge, Peterhouse. What comes next in my life? Guess I'll leave that as an exercise for the viewer. See you then, Adrito.